Jacomo and friends. Hey everybody, this is your old pal Jacomo here, and today we're gonna do some philosophizing. Uh, as you know, I play some of the role-playing games, and people they often ask me, they're like, "Hey, Giacomo buddy, how is it that you make a character?" And I'm like, "Have you ever seen one of the videos? All I do is I just roll the dice, and then whatever I get, and I just make up some stuff." But truth be told, that's not all there is to it. You know, because a lot of the games that I play here on the channel are all like one-shot things, and I don't usually put a lot of thought in a one-shot. Frequently, I just see like what my stats are, and then that's it. Like I figure something out from that. So what I'm going to talk about in this whole series is how I make a character for an ongoing game. So I think the best place to start is right at the beginning. So like when you're talking about stuff, you kind of need to figure out what stuff is, alright? So like if you're talking about mice, you're gonna know what mice is. If you're talking about what a role playing game is, you need to know actually what it is, because there's all kinds of things that you could kind of say a role playing game. Like if I'm playing me some Settlers of Catan, is that a role playing game? If I'm like I ain't gonna trade wood with you because I want you to lose the game, or is that just like me playing the game and being a jerk? You know, so what is a role playing game? Transition. For like all this series, my definition of what a role playing game is pretty simple. It's a game where you are a character and you use a system to solve any conflict whenever there's a chance of failure. So like let's say you wanna like fight a monster, or you wanna hack into a computer, or you wanna just like walk through the Sears and not steal anything because you it's sort of a compulsion. You just have to like have some sort of system to try to figure out whether or not you can beat the monster, if you can, hack into the computer, or if you can, resist the urge to steal an entire set of craftsman tools. That sort of thing. And what that does is that kind of gives a sense of fairness to the game. Like that way it's not just like the person who's running the game says, "Sure, yeah, you do that," or they go, "No, man, you smell bad. I ain't never gonna let you do nothing good." That sort of thing. So that's what to me a role playing game is. So let's move on to the next thing. And we go transition. So it's my opinion that there are two like fundamental things going on with your character in a role playing game. I call them the fluff and the crunch. And people may call it something like the narrative and the mechanics. But me, I like fluff and crunch because it sounds like a fluffernutter, and I'm really a little bit peckish, and I could go for a fluffernutter. But that aside, uh, the crunch is how your character interacts with the system. It's their bonuses, their stats, and anything that influences how the system can help or hinder your character in the course of gameplay. you know? And then the other part, the fluff, that's their history. It's their personality, it's their quirks, it's their weird stuff that makes them who they are. That's, to me, what a character actually is. And when you're making a character, you gotta do a thing, and again, this is my opinion. This is my opinion. So, you do you, I do me, but this is what I do. Is I do a thing, and I call it a holistic approach, like holistic. And it's like you think about everything. You have a harmony of mechanics and narrative. You get the fluff and you get the crunch, and they work together. Like that peanut butter sandwich. That's right over there. Excuse. I'll be back in a minute. Oh man, that was a good sandwich. Like Like, you ever have a sandwich and you're like, that's an awesome sandwich? And that sandwich, I had made fluff another, and it was great. Great. Like, I was like, mwah, yeah, great. Anyway, I was saying, there was a, you take a holistic approach, you know? One thing informs the other. So, like, you have the what you think the character is needs to be expressed inside the system. So, like, if I got a dude who's like big and buff, and he got these big old muscles, he need to have stats that say he got big old muscles. You know, like, you can't like, let's say you're playing like a D&D, and you're like, I got my guy. My guy is stacked. My guy is like, he's got 29-inch pythons. He makes Hulk Hogan look like he's like a little weenie man. And then when you look at his stats, he got like a 10 in his strength. No, no. He's gonna have a high strength. And if he doesn't have a high strength, he's not a strong guy. So, you have to think about how them being what you think they are works in the system. So, like, if they're charismatic, if they're smart, whatever, they have to have stats that say they are. Because otherwise, they're not who you think they are. It sounds pretty dumb. Like, it seems really super obvious. And maybe it is, and maybe it isn't. But there are times when people are like, how come my guy isn't a strong guy? It's like, because your stats are garbage, and your guy's not a strong guy. You didn't put him in the right place. Like, nah, if you random roll your stats, all right? Because people do that, and you have a guy who's not strong, you make him a not strong guy, and then you're done, and you have that whole holistic thing working. But if you're making a character and you're using like point buy or whatever, you need to make sure you have like a clear vision and then a good understanding to put his stats where they're gonna go. And so I invented, no, I didn't invent it, I invented it. I invented a system and I call it KISSA. KISSA, right? So what KISSA is knowledge, inspiration, simplification, and actualization. Sounds like really, really like new agey stuff, don't it? But it really isn't crazy. So knowledge is just like knowing the kind of game you're getting into. And inspiration is figuring out what you actually want to be when you're in that game. Boom. Simplification is making it make sense inside the system. You know what I mean? And then actualization is making sure it works and playing what you made. All right? So in the next like installation of this video series, I'm actually going to talk about what KISSA is. I'm going to talk about the first one. I'm going to talk about the K in KISSA. Right? So knowledge is going to happen. So until then, what I want you to do is just like think about when you make a character. Think about how many times you made a character that they just did not work. And like leave in the comments what you think went wrong. All right? Sound good? And if you can, like, subscribe, and comment, and ring the bell, and all that good stuff. And we will be seeing you when we talk about KISSA. Knowledge. Yeah. Jacomo and friends.